Yeah, I noticed a lot of work on Headwaters Trail with the lot of wood you cut out of there.
I haven't been there since.
This wind event we had, I believe it was over. We had a lot of power outages.
Yeah.
And so we spent probably 3 continuous days, starting on the bike trails and then moving into the deeper into the.
Chris, we're good.
So,
Great, thanks, Jen.
yeah, it's been a real effort. Yeah, you guys are doing a great job.
I bet you had some more, boy, just like the trees I saw down in Morgan Park, and it looked like all the chainsaw cuttings were pretty fresh. You guys have been around, been doing some hustling in there.
Yep.
So it's time to call this meeting to order. It is 5:39 p.m., November 23rd. I want to call the Portage County Park District Board of Commissioners regular meeting to order. Could I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Hurdy,
Present.
Commissioner McKinney,
Here.
Commissioner Engelhardt,
Here.
Commissioner Orishan.
Here.
Thank you.
Do we have any public comment?
I have not received any.
Okay.
Before we go on, if we could just wait a minute.
Okay.
We are getting double
Stuffed Oreos.
Can I ask that anybody that has the YouTube, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to ask that anybody that has,
Hello?
No, I can't hear you.
No, she's gone now.
anybody that has the YouTube live on, please mute it.
How is it now, Chris? Do you still hear an echo?
I don't know if anybody else is hearing that or not.
We didn't hear it, but I think what it is you have to turn off one of your volumes, possibly.
Can you guys hear me now?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
can hear you.
Is
Still
that
getting
better
it?
for you?
There was quite a delay, so I guess we'll see if anything comes up. Okay. Rory, would you please go ahead and do the roll call again? That was a little
Sure.
muddled.
Sure. Can you hear me like this?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Hurdy,
Present.
Commissioner McKinney,
Here.
Commissioner Engelhardt,
Here.
Commissioner Orishan.
Here.
Okay. Do we have any public comment?
I did not receive any public comment on our email.
Okay. Has everyone been able to look at the minutes from October 26, 2020? And are there any need for any changes or corrections?
Hang on, still checking.
I'm good with the minutes. I move that we approve.
Do we have a second?
This is Chuck, and I'll second.
Okay, we have Scott approving the minutes and Chuck seconding. Can I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Hurdy,
Yeah.
Commissioner McKinney,
Yes.
Commissioner Engelhardt,
Yes.
Commissioner Orishan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item number 4, the presentation of the financial statement for October and year-to-date budget report. Chris, is there any comments in regards to those?
Nothing unusual. We are getting ready to issue our first check for the Trail Lake construction, which is about $500,000. So we'll be drawing that down pretty quickly here for our general fund.
Okay. I was noticing the year-to-date reports. I see the Headwaters Trail has 22 cents. We've done a good job spending.
We should have more than that in there. Oh, no, you're right. You're right. Next year, we will have more than that in there. We're going to have to advance transfer some funds for our project. But we decided to wait until next year to do that.
Well, that's a good job that we're spending the money. I just want to make a note.
Sure. And we are working on the Breakneck Creek and the Berlin Trail funds as well to spend those down this year.
Great. Do I have a motion to approve the financial statement for October 2020 and year-to-date budget reports? If you have no questions.
This is Chuck. I'll move to approve.
I'll second. This is Alan.
Okay, we have Chuck making the motion to approve and Alan seconding. Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Hardy,
Yes.
Commissioner McKinney,
Yes.
Commissioner Engelhardt,
Yes.
Commissioner Orishan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great. Moving on to item number 5, the executive director updates. Looks like a lot of things are going on. Is there anything you want to specifically address, Chris?
Well, you see, my first item there, I missed Bob's 5-year anniversary in September. That's a big deal, but I just wanted to make sure we gave him the proper shout out and express how much we appreciate everything that he's been doing for us over the last 5 years. He's really an integral part of our team and involved with everything from grant applications to day-to-day management out on our natural areas, and he's doing a fantastic job. So
He's been a great addition. And again, likewise, I'd like to give him a kudos myself. He's always good to hear the good work that he does. Appreciate that.
Congratulations, Bob. This is Chuck.
Yeah, Bob, absolutely. I echo my colleagues. Congrats.
Is he on, Bob?
Yep. Thank you all very much. I really appreciate that.
Hey, Bob, me too. I'm on with you. Thank you.
outside of that, we've got a changing of the guard with our chief rangers. So Doug, as you know, resigned. He did submit his formal letter of resignation and turned in his badges. Zach has been hired starting November 16th. He's still finishing out his time with Bedford Heights and has a commission with them. So we won't be swearing him in until after he's done there. And I believe that is, I believe this Wednesday is his last day.
Okay.
Doug did such a nice job as chief ranger as far as setting us up properly to have that function. I'm wondering if he'd be open to consulting with us from time to time, to help us navigate. He's been a chief ranger, obviously, much longer than Zach, and could probably offer some advice here and there where we need it.
Sure. Yeah. And he has offered that. He's expressed that, professional courtesy, park district to park district. He's certainly willing to help us out. And of course, he already knows Zach. Zach used to work for him at Summit Metro Parks. So yeah, he's going to be a great resource for us as we need it.
Fantastic.
Let's see, the other thing, of course, is Trail Lake Park was open to the public since the last time we met, and it is a big success in the public eye as far as we can tell. Opening weekend, we had a good at least 1,000 people a day there, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, based on our estimates with the way the cars were coming in, our volunteer counts, and then we did relocate a traffic counter there to the trail. So yeah, we've just gotten lots and lots of positive comments. There have been some good press in the paper. David Dix wrote a nice article. We had a nice letter to the editor from Lee Harrington today. So yeah, lots of positive feedback there. Since then, I did put the application in for funding for the Trail Lake shelter improvement. That was one that was put together quickly with some assistance in the cost estimating from Peninsula Architects. So if we're awarded, we'll certainly have a lot of opportunity to, design the shelter as we want it for ourselves. And we'd be looking at potentially 2022 to build it realistically. But anyway, we'll see what kind of competition we have out there.
Well, congratulations to you and the whole staff. It is breathtaking. It is amazing. It was so much fun to be out there that Friday that it opened. It was fun to take my family around and to open such a milestone type park. Just really, it is very, very nice, very well done. And I know it's just the first phase, but what a nice addition to the parks.
Thanks, Scott. Yeah.
Kudos all. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I talked to some folks that I work with at the school, and they had their parents out, and a lot of positive comments. And my wife Judy and I were out obviously that one day, and just really great. What a good addition.
Thanks. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a great opportunity for us to connect to new park users as well as we get out there. So.
And that'll be good with the work for the levy coming up to have that positive piece to show the public.
Yeah, and I think it also illustrates how we're leveraging the levy dollars. We figured that about 60% of the total cost for acquisition and development, 60% was outside funds, 40% levy dollars.
Great.
That's fantastic.
We are proceeding with coming down to the wire here, but with Eagle Creek Greenway 1A and 1B. This is the Carlisle farm up in Hiram on Route 82. It's about 325 acres. And there were some issues with the deed that were discovered late in the game that the sellers are resolving. And then we also, it's on the agenda today. I was just presented like a couple of days ago with the requested formal easement, access easement for the sellers to maintain a gas line that provides gas to their homes. So this is a well that's on the property. The Park District has the mineral rights with that. But as part of our negotiations with the purchase agreement, they requested that they still be allowed to get the free gas to their homes, and we agreed. But we said that we didn't want to be responsible for having to maintain that gas line to ensure that gas, reached them. And that was put in the purchase agreement, but it's understandable. Their attorney requested that we have a formal easement recorded that enshrines that right for them to get onto that gas line right of way that would be on our property in the future. So that's on our agenda. And if everything else pans out, I had submitted the request for Clean Ohio funds to be dispersed directly to the escrow agent. Hopefully that will happen by next Monday. And I think we're in line to close on December 1st.
Great.
Excellent.
Okay. I guess the next agenda item would be talking about the personnel policy.
Yes, so as you'll recall, we've been looking at other examples of personnel policies, in particular other park districts, with the intention of providing our part-time staff with some additional paid time off. Currently, full-time staff, which is described by Portage County as 40 hours per week. Full-time accrues vacation hours at a certain rate based on their tenure. Also, full-time employees are granted 3 days of personal time every year. And that's not accrued, that's allocated at the front of the year for that. Other than that, part-time employees could take a vacation day if they were regularly scheduled to work on that vacation day. So Portage County, we have 11 holidays I was trying to refer to. Part-timers are eligible to take holidays if they were scheduled to work on that day normally. And Portage County offers 11 holiday days. Different park districts do it differently. Cleveland Metro Parks offers 12. Other park districts offer 10 or 8, I think, some of them. So, our question is, what kind of policy amendment might we want to do to grant our part-timers some paid time off for either personal use or for vacation? And looking at, for example, Cleveland Metro Parks as an example, they have part-time vacation hours, and it is accrued at half the rate as full-time. So whatever hours they work, they are accruing vacation hours, but it at half the rate they would if they were full-time. And then they do offer paid time off for part-time. However, personal hours for part-time. However, that is actually at a higher rate than the vacation hours. So, taking into consideration our previous conversations on this, there's a whole variety of ways we could approach it. And, we can have that discussion if you like. One of the options that I came up with as a sort of a compromise would be something like this. Part-time employees, for us, we would be describing part-time employees as working less than 40 hours per week. So because Portage County policy says, and that's what we have adopted, 40 hours full-time, anything less than that is part-time. Now, this does not equate to the Affordable Care Act. For Affordable Care Act purposes, you are full-time and eligible for health benefits if you work an average of 30 hours per week. So that's separate. We have no choice on that. If we have an employee that's working on average 30 hours or more a week, then that person is eligible for health insurance coverage. So at part-time employees, number one, that would be considered less than 40 hours per week. Number two, part-time employees may accrue vacation time at this rate, 0.019375, which is half the rate of full-time employees. That's currently our full-time, half of our full-time rate. Cleveland Metro Parks rate is higher than that. And then part-time employees may be allocated paid time off for personal time at the rate of this, which is, that is the same prorated rate as a full-time. So what I did is, since full-time employees work 80 hours a week or a year, 2,080 hours a year, I divided 24 hours by 2080 and came up with this rate here. And then figured that if we have a part-time employee, they'd have to have worked for a year, at least part-time, to be eligible for the paid time off for personal hours. And we would then look at the total number of hours they worked in that prior year. So if it were 1,000 hours, then they would be eligible for 11 and a half hours of paid time off for personal hours. So this is just something I threw out there as a starting point for conversation. If you all want to discuss that tonight, or if you want to table it and look at it at another time, that's up to you.
I have a question about the personal hours. If a part-time or actually any employee doesn't take advantage of all their personal hours, is there any kind of a cash buyout or something like that?
No,
They
that's a
can
good
get?
point, Alan. That is the difference between personal hours and vacation hours. Personal hours, if you don't use them within that year, they go away. Whereas vacation hours do have a cash payout option for that. And you can accrue those up to a certain limit year after year. So, if you're a part-time person and you accrued a week of vacation and you haven't used it this year, you can carry that forward. And I think you can carry it forward 3 years, or there may be a cap on that total number of hours.
Okay, thank you.
Well, again, not to further muddy the muddy water, but I know that like at the school district, we've got personal time, and if you don't use any personal time or sick time during a certain period, you end up with a actual paid bonus, which that's kind of strange. But, and even myself, I'm a part-time employee, and I've got 3 personal days because I haven't used my personal days nor sick time during this period. I get a $300 bonus for being at work. I don't know. I just brought that up because again, thinking about the personal time, just not taking it and losing it just seems that's kind of a shame. And I don't know how we would, if we want to do something else to try to compensate for that.
Okay. Anybody else? Do we want to try to resolve this tonight, or?
Chris, I'm looking at this spreadsheet you sent out. Can you help me? Which line is your proposal? Is it?
So I made some changes since the one I sent you. I apologize for that.
I can't see what you're projecting. It's too small.
Okay, let me see if I can get this a little bit larger here. So let me see here. Okay, so this is, if you can you see this? Is this large enough for you?
No.
I'm still looking at the same screen that
Same
was up.
here.
Nothing's changed.
Yeah.
You aren't seeing the Excel spreadsheet enlarged? Okay.
Seeing the
Not
spreadsheet,
enlarged.
not enlarged or focused in on whatever you want to show us specifically.
Huh, okay. Well, I apologize for that. It's clear on my screen. But what I did is, what's your particular comment or your question, Scott?
Well, I just want to understand what your proposal is.
My proposal, yeah.
I think seeing it in the chart would help, but I can't see what you're proposing.
So
Well,
the reason I put the
can I
chart,
make a- Can I make a suggestion?
sure.
Again, this is obviously an issue that requires a lot of thinking and mulling over. Would it be possible for you maybe to come up with 3 different options and then send it to us, and at the next meeting we can discuss that more fully, being able to look at option 1, option 2, option 3, have a discussion, and then come forward with a solution.
Happy to do that.
I mean, does anybody else? Again, I'm with you. If the group wants to sit and discuss this now and come up with a solution, that's great. But like I said, I fortunately, because I'm on the phone with my computer, I'm able to make my screen bigger so I can see the details. But if they're not able to see the details and which one we're presenting, that would be my suggestion.
I think it's fine to discuss it next time. And really, I'm fine with getting one proposal from Chris, just so that I understand what it is that we're voting on.
Right.
I'd be happy to support most things that she would recommend in this area. So just if we could have that to review in advance, and then I'd be happy to consider that.
So
I agree.
Okay. And what I could do is, as I attempted to do with that spreadsheet before, go ahead and give you some examples of how that would be applied. So at different hours per year, you can see how those hours would accrue for different staff positions.
Sure.
Chris, are we looking at full-time and part-time, or is this conversation mostly around the part-time?
This is all about the part-time.
Okay, so if we could just keep whatever your thoughts are regarding, whether it be vacation and or some sort of personal leave or whatever, just exclusively focused on that. If you want to compare it to have some context with full-time, that's fine. I just wasn't sure.
Sure. Okay.
I think it should be somewhat parallel to what the county does, for sure. I hate to vary from that much.
Okay. And you agree that both vacation time and personal hours are appropriate for part-time staff. So I'll go ahead and come up with some different a range of options for that, and make my recommendation then.
Great.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay.
Great, thanks.
Looking to item number 7. Are there any old business and approval of any action items we need to address before going to new business? Okay.
No old business.
Okay. Number 8, item 8, new business and approval of action items. The first resolution 220 is a resolution approving the Park District expenditures for the month of October 2020. Chris, is there any comments in regards to any of these expenditures? Anything unusual that we should be aware of?
Nothing unusual. You can see that we've paid out our parking lot contractor for Trail Lake, and we've paid. We've paid also for the Morgan Operations Centers. We had the concrete floor put in the storage building, and part of the general contract for the renovation of the center. I did just receive the final invoice for RBS, which is our general contractor for the operations center. So we will be closing that contract out too within the next week here.
Okay. The only question I have is just personal. Again, looking at the Trail Lake, I know the ADA dock and the bat survey.
Yeah.
I just kind of want to, kind of interesting. What was the bat survey, and what did we find out, if we know?
Well, so this Indiana bat is a federally endangered animal. And they tend to roost in trees that have loose bark. So if we have to remove trees within the window of, Bob, correct me, but if I think it's October, between March and October, somewhere in there, then we have to do a survey, a bat survey, to determine that if the trees that we're preparing to remove have bats in them that are roosting in. Right. And that really is, that's a good thing by habitat, but it's also something that's required because we had federal money attached to the acquisition of Trail Lake.
So, I mean, do you know if Davey found any bats?
Did not see any bats coming out of those trees.
Okay. It was just interesting.
For us.
I'm not questioning our spending money on bat surveys. I just thought it was interesting.
Right. Yeah. We were bound to do that because that was a requirement from the federal grant that we got, that we would adhere to all of the federal regulations with that. And so, and you have to, it's not just a matter of, us going out there, our own staff doing it. They had to be somebody that had the permit to do that sort of work, and also to coordinate with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and the reporting of that. So it was a good thing for us that the bats didn't choose any of those trees that we wanted to cut, and then they were able to go in right the next day and remove the trees. So,
great.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have any other questions in regards to this resolution? And if not, can I have a motion for the approval of the expenditures for the month of October 2020?
I'll move, this is Alan, to approve the expenditures.
Do I have a second?
Scott?
So we have Alan making the motion. Is that you, Scott, seconding it?
Yes.
Okay. Can I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Purdy?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
You're still on, Rory.
Commissioner McKinney?
Yes.
Commissioner Engelhardt?
Yes.
Commissioner Orsham?
Yes.
Thank you.
Moving on to our next resolution, and that will be resolution of appreciation to Chief Ranger Shepard in regards to his work for us for the last 5 years. In regards to this resolution, do we have something that we're going to present to him? I mean, I know the resolution, but have we thought about anything? Again, I don't know. Bronze.
Rory did a nice job. She put together a framed poster. If you've seen the series of posters that the foundation has done, it kind of look like the national park, old style national park posters.
They're classy. They're nice.
Yeah,
So,
they're great.
So we have an 11 by 17 framed poster to give him as a thank you and
Great.
for his time with us.
Do I have a motion in regards to this resolution?
Well, I'd love to move that we appreciate Chief Ranger Shepard. He's been fantastic, and I'd also add, Chris, please convey our appreciation to him. I just really think that he did a first-class job, really setting us up right, and just operated with a lot of tact and poise and good judgment. I'm very appreciative of him, so I'm happy to make this motion.
Okay.
Great. Do I have a second?
I'm happy to second it.
Okay. In regards to the resolution of appreciation to Chief Ranger Shepard, we have Scott making the motion and Alan seconding. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Hurdy?
Yes.
Commissioner McKinney?
Yes.
Commissioner Orsham?
Yes.
Commissioner Engelhardt?
Yes.
Thanks.
Great. The next resolution we have is authorizing the Officer Commission of Chief Ranger Steele. Chris, is there anything that we need to be aware of in regards to this resolution?
No, other than I had been waiting for swearing him in until after he was done with his commission with Bedford Heights. And then the other thing is he had some results of some background screenings that we haven't gotten the official results on our desk yet. So, for instance, the fingerprinting for criminal background check, I have no concerns about that, given that he's been working as a police officer for a while. But we just wanted to make sure that we had everything for our file straight before we went ahead and swore him in.
Great. So we can go forward with this resolution then.
Yes.
Great. Do I have a motion approving the commissioning of Chief Ranger Zach Steele?
So move. This is Alan.
And a second?
This is Chuck. I'll second.
Great. We have Alan making the motion and Chuck seconding. May I have a roll call vote, please? Are we still on? Hello?
I'll do the roll call.
Great.
Commissioner Rorschan,
Yes.
Commissioner McKinney,
Yes.
Commissioner Engelhardt,
Yes.
Commissioner Hardy.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great. The next resolution is looking at the initial budget appropriations. Chris, are any comments or anything we need to be aware of?
The only thing is, so this, as you'll recall, this is the appropriations of our funds that allows us to use it back, and it's based on what we had submitted to the County Budget Commission back in July with our estimated tax budget. The one change that's significant since then is the personnel unit has been increased. And that's primarily because we chose to make the ranger a full-time position, whereas before it was planned for a part-time position. You can see we only have certification right now in our general fund and in our Headwaters Trail Fund because we anticipated the other funds being spent down. But once any carryover to 2021 happens, the Budget Commission will meet in early 2021 and then certify that carryover for any cash that we have in other funds that then could be spent. So then we'll have to appropriate that. But here is the backup information, which I show you in this column, the left column. This is what we had submitted with our estimated tax budget. And then the column next to it is what I'm proposing for the actual appropriations. So you can see we're almost $50,000 more in employee salaries for full-time, although we did go down with part-time because the chief ranger isn't in part-time now.
Hey, Chris, just one comment while you're there before you scroll down to
Sure.
the right of the full-time salaries. It says 10 part-time. That's
Oh,
probably
I'm
not
sorry.
your intent. But that's okay. I just wanted to point it out
Yep.
just so that
Thanks.
you can make the correction because the part-time are right below that. So
Yeah.
correct. Yep.
Yep.
Thank
You're
you.
right. 10 full-time, 5 part-time.
Yep.
The health benefits are variable, depending on what the employee, what program the employee chooses. So family plans are different than individual plans. So I averaged, estimated on the high end at 23,000 per average per 11 staff. I think actually, and the reason why it's 11 is because we have a staff person that's at 30 hours a week that's eligible for health benefits, even though so that's considered still a part-time position, although it's health benefits eligible. So that's how I arrived at that number. By all accounts, it will probably be less than 253,000 because we do have people that are not on the family plan. Let's see.
Anyone doing buyouts, Chris, or, I mean, how does that, are any of our staff on buying out or on a spousal
The way
buyout or
Portage,
any of that?
I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to, but the Portage County policy is that spouses, if spouses are eligible for coverage on their own
Yeah,
employee plan, then they have to take that they will not be covered by our plan. But if the spouse doesn't have other employment or doesn't have other coverage, then we cover them.
all right. Yeah, so it was along that line. Plus, I was inquiring just to see if anyone is covered by their spouse's plan, for example, to where they opt out of ours, I
Oh.
guess. Anything like, we don't have a tremendous amount of staff, but I'm just curious.
Yeah, not that I'm aware of. I think everybody is covered by us.
Okay.
Under the capital improvement line, you'll see that I did add in a line for new vehicles and equipment. We have need for another ATV, basically, out for maintenance, and then also another vehicle, Ranger pickup truck, and that'll be good to have a pickup because it can be used for a variety of jobs by anybody. So as it turns out, the way our fleet is, we started out with a couple of pickup trucks in 2015, and then we've since added another couple, and this will be Craig, am I correct? This will be our 5th pickup truck. I don't know, maybe Craig's not on still.
Yeah, I'm here. We have 6 vehicles right now. That includes the Escape.
Okay.
5 trucks, and then this will be 6 trucks, 7 vehicles total.
Okay. So so that's the 75,000 I pulled from there. The other adjustment I made is dropping down the construction line. And that gives us a little more healthy carryover. And as I think you guys have realized, I try to budget pretty conservatively. So in fact, our carryover from 2020 to 2021, we initially figured it would be 818,000, almost 819,000. It'll probably be closer to over $1 million in carryover, just because we aren't expending everything that we have appropriated in these different accounts. So, which is good. It gives us, it certainly gives us more flexibility, and as we grow our staff over the time here, it's going to come in handy towards the latter part of our levy cycle. Any other questions on that?
I don't have any questions myself. There's a bunch of following certifications. Is this all part of the same resolution?
Right. So these are, what's following is the official certification from the Budget Commission that just proves that we have the ability to appropriate what we have there.
Okay, so there's nothing that we need to really do, just again, backup documents for the rebuttal.
Right.
Does everyone feel comfortable with this resolution? Authorizing the 2021 initial budget appropriation? Are there any questions? And if not, can I have a motion to approve?
This is Chuck. I'll move to approve.
Do we have a second?
I'll second. This is Alan.
Okay. We have Chuck making the motion, Alan seconding. Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Hardy,
Yes.
Commissioner McKinney,
Yes.
Commissioner Engelhardt,
Yes.
Great. Now we're moving on to the next resolution, and it's the change order for Woodford Construction?
Yes.
Authorizing change order number 4. Okay. And basically, if I look at it, there was more materials needed, and for the paving, is that what this is about?
More materials for the paving, and then there is also an error in their original bid that they submitted. So with the bid sheet, there was a unit cost and then a number of units that were on there. And what they did is they just didn't multiply it out. They had a unit price, but they didn't multiply it out by the number of units. And none of us had caught it until, they submitted an invoice. So that's about $4,800 of a difference there that covered that. Craig, do you have anything to add?
There's someone in the background talking on somebody's.
Well,
No,
Gail.
that is correct, Chris. There was a clerical error on one portion of that. And there was a small
I think it might have been me, so.
that covered the asphalt overage.
Sorry.
Anything else? Any other questions?
no, if no one has any questions, can I have a motion to approve Resolution 220 authorizing the change order to Fair Lake Park and the construction?
This is Chuck. I'll move to approve. I believe it's referred to as change order number 4. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Correct.
authorizing change order number 4, Trail Lake.
Sure. I'll move to approve.
Chuck moves to approve in a second.
I'll second.
Okay. We have Chuck approving the change order number 4, and also Scott seconding. Can I have a roll call vote, please?
Purdy,
Yes.
Commissioner McKinney,
Yes.
Commissioner Engelhardt,
Yes.
Marishan.
Yes.
Now, the next resolution is in regards to the easement to Western Reserve Land Conservatory on Eagle Creek Greenway 1A and B. This is in regards to the Carlisle property, Chris. Is that true?
Yes. So if you'll recall the easement that we have proposed with them, I excluded the frontage parcels just because that would give us a little more flexibility in any future development we wanted to do there. It'd be one less set of approvals we would have to go through if we wanted to do anything with converting those barns, for example, or new structures in that area. So because then they wouldn't have any road frontage on the easement area, they needed this access easement to get from the road to the easement for them to be able to inspect it. I had suggested that maybe their easement could just be the hike and bike trail, because that has a public access and parking area, and they could go down the hike and bike trail and get to it from the south side. And their attorneys basically wanted to have something, that would give them the perpetual right to access it on their own, not relying on that trail remaining open.
You have any concerns about that, Chris?
No, they, it's just a matter of a visit once a year for them to get, to park there and to get out to the easement area.
And this doesn't in any way impact our usage of that property?
No. Well, I mean, the easement this is beyond what we're talking about with the conservation easement. This is just access to the conservation easement. So no, it would not affect it. We can't block it up. We couldn't put like a brick wall across there and not allow them to get past
Right.
it. But
No.
but otherwise, no. They have the
But for some of the programming and such that we had talked about, there's no impact that you foresee.
no.
Okay. Great, thank you.
Okay. If there's no more discussion, can I get a motion to approve access easement on Eagle Creek Greenway 1 to Western Reserve Land Conservatory property?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Okay, we have Chuck making the motion and
I think
Alan seconding.
That was Scott who motioned
Oh,
first.
sorry. Oh,
Then
sorry.
Alan. It's okay, no worries. Scott, then Alan. Thank you.
Okay, Scott making the motion, Alan making the second. Can I have a roll call vote?
Commissioner Hardy,
Yes.
Commissioner McKinney,
Yes.
Marshan,
Yes.
Commissioner Engelhardt.
Yes.
Thanks.
Moving along. The access easement to Greenway 1 to Martin and Carlisle. Is this in regards to the same issue, Chris, or?
This would be the, what I referred to earlier when I was talking about my report. The sellers live nearby, and Alan, I'm just going to mute you for a second. Sorry, because we're getting a lot of background noise. But if you want to talk, I can unmute you. The sellers are two families. They're brother and sister. Stanley and Annette live right next to the property on the same side of the road. Jane, who is Stanley's sister, and her husband, they live across the street. Both of those houses have gas lines that are running to their houses, providing free gas. And
Right.
per our purchase agreement, we've allowed them to continue to get that free gas for as long as the gas well is producing. Once it peters out, that's the end of it. And really, that could probably happen anytime. Stanley said he was surprised that it was going as long as it was. Nonetheless, since those gas lines cross what will be our property to their property, and we said that we didn't want to have any responsibility for maintaining those gas lines, they their attorney said, well, then we need to have an access easement. So if we need to maintain the gas lines, we can go on your property and do it. So that's what this is. Their attorney drafted an easement to each of them. So Stan and Annette have an easement for their purpose, and Jane and Martin have an
Now,
easement.
I know that we are not maintaining that well, but if there is a need, are they going to be able to come in and maybe dig up or replace the well, or?
Not the well, but the gas line to the well.
Okay. And we're okay with that.
Well, it's in our purchase agreement. So
Right.
we said,
No, okay, just kind of,
yeah.
okay. Are there any other questions in regards to the access easements to Martin and Carlisle? If not, if I could get a motion to approve resolution 220, access easements on Eagle Creek Greenway 1 to Martin and Carlisle properties.
This is Chuck. I'll move to approve.
Chuck moves. Do we have a second?
I'll second. This is Alan.
Okay, we have Chuck making the motion to resolution in regards to access easement on Eagle Creek Greenway 1 to Martin and Carlisle, and Alan seconding. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Hardy,
Yes.
Commissioner McKinney,
Yes.
Commissioner Engelhardt,
Yes.
Commissioner Marshan.
Yes.
Thank you.
And again, it looks like the last resolution on our list here is accepting the donation from the Portage Park Foundation for Trail Lake for the dock and also the access the kayak loading thing. And it looks like that there's further information from Judge Berger stating a journal entry so we can receive that donation.
Yes.
Is that true? Okay. Are there any
Yes.
questions or concerns or?
No, we just had to kind of go through the formal procedure of having the probate, but judge approved the donation first.
Okay, great. Can I get a motion to accept the donation from the Portage Foundation for the Trail Lake installation?
This is Chuck. I'll move to approve.
Chuck approves. Do we have a second?
I'll second. This is Alan.
Great. We have Chuck making the motion and Alan seconding. Can I have a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Hardy,
Yes.
Commissioner McKinney, Commissioner McKinney,
Yes.
Commissioner Engelhardt,
Yes.
Commissioner Marchand.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. And it looks like there's one other resolution, but again, that's in regards to the personnel policy for part-time employees. Is that true, Chris?
Correct, yeah. Now I'll make sure that you have all that information before the next meeting.
Okay. Now, yes.
I say the last, for executive session, the only one that we may want to discuss is the property that I had sent you in a separate email for consideration. I do not have an appraisal on that now, so it's not imminent that we have to make a decision on it. We could just skip executive session for tonight and discuss it at the next meeting.
That sounds grand. Let's wait till we have the information.
Okay.
That sounds good. So it sounds like that we've completed all of our action items here. Maybe we need one other motion to adjourn.
Do we need to formally table the personnel issue?
It's not on our new business. I put a draft resolution. Oh, you know what it is? It's under other information, but it wasn't under new business. However you
Okay.
guys want to handle that.
Yep, that's fine then.
So then do I have a motion to adjourn?
This is Scott. I'll move to adjourn.
And also a second?
This is Chuck, and I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion for Scott to adjourn and Chuck to second. Do we need a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Hardy,
Yes.
Commissioner McKinney,
Yes.
Commissioner Engelhardt,
Yes.
Commissioner Marchand.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great. Well,
Thanks,
well, thanks,
everybody.
everyone. And everybody have a
Okay.
good.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, everyone. Take care.